You know, if somebody in Spanish calls, if you call somebody in Spanish and say, "What are you doing?" The Spanish response is, "Aquí no más." That's the first thing people will say. "Aquí no más." It doesn't really translate into English. You don't really say that in English, but the homies always translate it into English, you know. So when you call them and say, "Hey, Doc, what are you doing?" "Just right here." I always say, "Just right here." And you don't, native speakers in English don't really say "just right here," but homies say "just right here," you know. And in the old days, I always thought, well, it's an interesting expression, "just right here." In fact, I would keep track of, right after they'd say "just right here," they'd name something quite particular and concrete. And I always thought something very luminous in its ordinary sacredness. So I would write them down when some of the homies would say them that I thought were kind of interesting. You know, they're simple things. Like a homie once, I said, "What are you doing, Doc?" "Well, just right here, washing my face, still got soap on it." "Just right here, staring at my son." "What you doing, Doc?" "Just right here, drawing Winnie the Pooh for my daughter." I would collect them because I always thought they were interesting because it had two things to it. It was just right here, where we're called to be, and it was discovering the luminous in the ordinary, which I think is sort of one of the secrets of life. They say that human beings need three things: someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. I would add to that, just right here. You know, just right here, you love somebody. Just right here, you find something to do. Just right here, you locate something to hope for. And that's important. There's an old proverb that says, if you wait for tomorrow, tomorrow will come. If you don't wait for tomorrow, tomorrow will come. It's all about just right here. I was thinking kind of a random thought, you know, when I flew to New Orleans with Chino and Gabriel, and for Chino it was his first flight ever. And so Chino and Gabriel were in row 21. I was in 22. I had a window seat right behind Chino, and Chino with the window seat, Gabriel in the middle seat. And this stranger, this man, was sitting at the aisle. And because I think Gabriel and Chino are more dedicated to just right here than I am, they got to know the stranger, and they talked to him, and they explained what Homeboy Industries was about, and I could overhear a lot of this. And the stranger told them that he was flying to New Orleans to meet his son, who he had never met. His son was 30 years old, had been sort of snatched from him at birth, and somehow how these things happened, he had found him. And he was going to go see his son for the first time after 30 years. And I watched how they kind of stayed anchored in the just right here, the kindness of strangers, and choosing to love people who are just right there with you. And Chino had the window seat, and it was right by the wing. And you know, the flaps start to move up like they do, you know. And Chino notices this, and he goes, "Oh my God." And he turns to the stranger and goes, "Is that supposed to happen?" And the stranger, with so much kindness, wanting to calm Chino down, he said, "No, I don't think so." "I'm going to grab your ankles, and you go out there and you fix that." And row 21 just burst in laughter, and I thought, how wonderful to be just right here, where people extend themselves to each other. And here we are, just right here today, on the first day of May 2012, where you get to choose to love, you get to choose to do something, you get to choose to hope for something, just right here. And you find the luminous in the ordinary, and you find the glorious in the particular, right here, just right here.